Do I have faith in Justin versus Bo? For some reason, I like Bo.
I expect a lot more success for Bo Nix. The reason why isn't just because he's more experienced, because they've added pieces.
I'm expecting RJ Harvey to be perhaps a dark horse rookie of the year candidate.
Jahdae Barron, I completely agree. You can never have enough elite defensive backs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Denver Broncos in tonight's video because this team's cracked out. It's just insane. It's actually a little overwhelming how good Denver got in the offseason, whether it's Greenlaw, Hufanga, any rookie like RJ Harvey especially, or even Evan Ingram. That's a game changer. Denver already was very impressive, and they had especially their defense, and they just got better. And they got monumentally better. I mean, we're talking literal contenders here as long as Bo Nix can keep doing what he's doing. And last year, it's funny because Bo struggled right out of the gate. He had like 3 straight, or maybe it was 3 out of 4 sub 50 PFF games, settles in for the final 3 months of the year, delivers an 85.7 overall grade. That ranked 6th in the entire NFL. And so before we get into the offense, because I mainly want to talk about some of these offensive weapons, specifically Evan Ingram and RJ Harvey, but the defense last year was nuts, and they got just way better, which is absolutely terrifying. And you guys really didn't lose many pieces here. So last season, Denver's defense was one of the best in the NFL. I believe you guys might have been ranked 1 statistically, but at worst it was number 3. Only the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champions, allowed a lower EPA per play and fewer yards per play than the Broncos in 2024. They also ranked 2nd in the league with a 39.9% pressure rate. That is an asinine number. I cannot believe that's a real statistic. And I'm wondering who number 1 is. I guess it must have been Philly, but 39.9%, and that's number 2. Jeez. They go out there, they pick up Dre Greenlaw, they pick up Hufanga, they get possibly, and hopefully for you guys, cornerback number 1 and Jahdae Barron. That guy was like a top 10 pick for a lot of the pre-draft mock drafts that we were looking at here. So you got the defense player of the year, you had a phenomenal season. So let's look at the offense, because even though Bo Nix did really good, Denver was 10th in the league in scoring at 25 points per game. They were only 16th in rushing, but we'll talk about RJ in just a second here. They're also turning the ball over at just a little bit worse of league average, but once again, they had a rookie quarterback. Bo Nix, he's so good. He really is. And what's even crazier, this is hopefully not disrespectful, but he didn't have too many solidified weapons. And obviously what I mean by that is, Cortland Sutton just had a phenomenal season, but Marvin Mims is young. Devon Vele was a rookie. Troy Franklin was a rookie. Like, he was doing this with unproven guys. Unexperienced guys, I should say. That's a little bit better. And so now they bring in all these weapons, but the Broncos earned the 5th worst PFF receiving grade and the 5th worst PFF rushing grade in 2024. So I have to turn our attention to Evan Ingram and RJ Harvey. But before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I apologize, Broncos fans. We haven't made a Broncos video in, I got to say, probably like 2 weeks. So if we could try and get this one to 250 likes, folks, would mean the absolute world to me. Obviously, this team was lacking a tight end. I mean, I feel like every week I made a Broncos video last season, we were talking about how underwhelming that position was. And as much as I liked guys like Adam Troutman, I still do, he's still on the roster, they needed more pop and sizzle, right? They needed pop and sizzle. And Evan Ingram, if he can stay healthy, it's a next level type of move. It really is a game changer. The one major change they needed and the one major change they made was Evan Ingram. Over his 3 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Evan ranked 4th among tight ends with 1,163 yards after the catch. Even crazier considering he only played 9 games last year due to a torn labrum. So if he can bounce back, this is going to be one of those guys where, we're talking like 70 receptions, somewhere around 1,000 yards, like 7 or 8 touchdowns. This is exactly what rookie Bo Nix needed last year, and it's what he got in the offseason, so I can't wait. And then, like we said, the running attack was really interesting, and now Javonte Williams is now the running back for the Dallas. The running back room is fascinating because you have Audric Estime, you have Jaleel McLaughlin, you have Tyler Beatty, and they go out there in the 2nd round and trade up for RJ Harvey. And I love this. He was one of the most productive runners in college football in his tenure at UCF. Placed 8th amongst FBS running backs with a 94.2 PFF rushing grade since 2023, and he also ranked 4th in all of college football with 2,995 yards in that span. He also averaged an insane 6.5 yards per carry over his career, and he's coming off back-to-back 1,400 rushing yard seasons, closing out his collegiate career. Another really fun fact or stat, we could do this all day. That's how intriguing RJ Harvey is, and I don't need to tell a Broncos fan that. He forced 69 missed tackles as a runner in 2024. He's very good at change of direction. He's got a very good first step, and he has 43 combined touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. So you're looking at Evan Ingram and RJ Harvey as 2 huge new cogs. One of them's a rookie. One of them's an experienced veteran, joining Sean Payton and Bo Nix for the Broncos offense. While we're on offense, round 374, Pat Bryant. This one's really fascinating to me because your wide receiver room has a bunch of guys who are very good at certain things. So Pat Bryant, for example, is a big dude, and that's exactly who you guys needed, or the prototype, the archetype that you guys needed in your wide receiver room. Pat Bryant is 6'3", 200 pounds. So he's got a very strong build. He's got very good hands. He's a reliable blocker. He's just going to be very good. He had 84.5 receiving grade last year at the University of Illinois. That ranked 24th in all of college football at the wide receiver position. So kind of looking like another gem wide receiver, but I guess you can't really call the 74th pick in the draft a gem. So while we have some time, let's talk about some of these rookies on the defensive side, because the defensive back room is terrifying. I mean, the whole defense is terrifying, but now your new defensive back room is Pat Hufanga, Brandon Jones, so underrated, Riley Moss, just killer. Really intriguing sophomore campaign last season. Now you got Jahdae Barron, and there's also a bunch of depth, obviously, but Jade's he's an athlete, man. He ran a 4.39 in the 40-yard dash at the combine. He's very physical, very willing tackler, which very reliable in today's era of the National Football League. He also can force turnovers. He had 8 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries over the last 3 years at the University of Texas. And he was the highest graded cornerback in college football last year with at least 400 coverage snaps. And just because we have some time here, Savion Jones. So not only did you go out there and you got day one starters and Jahdae Barron, and you bring in some vets in Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, you're also setting up the future. And Savion Jones dude's a beast, and he fits very perfectly as a situational guy for you guys this upcoming season. He's got the motor, he's got the length, 15.1% pass rush win rate at LSU. So SEC proven defensive guy. I love it. Will be, a rotational guy at the start of his rookie campaign. And hopefully by the end of the season, he's making plays on a week-to-week basis. So folks, that's it for me. I got to go get some Mexican food here. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. And if you guys are feeling inclined, give me a loose win-loss projection rating for the Denver Broncos next season. Peace.